Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me, Shane? Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. All of those beeps that you might be able to hear are people joining us. I'm so pleased to see that we do have quite a number of people who have decided to join us, even though a lot of the information has been online for a few days. So I'm Jenny Middleton. I'm the assistant principal here at CHAC, and welcome to our very first subject, information and selection evening for this year. Unfortunately, it is online. That suits some people, but for me and my generation, I much prefer the face-to-face and being able to speak to people in that way. I will be joined today, this evening, by Mr. Shane Bowden, who is our Director of Data and Strategy. He looks after everything to do with ATAR, QCAA, your QCEs, all of those kinds of things that will get you to the next step after you finish school. Just a few things before we get started. If you have any questions tonight, then the heads of faculty will be available for questions via email. You can also contact Mrs. Penny or Ms. Penny Cummins for the next 2 days if you have any questions relating specifically to pathways or traineeships or school-based apprenticeships and things like this. So Shane and I will answer questions until 7:30 after this presentation through the chat function. So if you have any questions, just throw them in there and we'll get to them. This is being recorded, so we will place this also on the subject, the Year 11 2022 subject site, so that you can have access to it, especially for those people who weren't able to be here tonight. A link to the Year 11 subject selection page was sent to all Year 10 parents and students on Friday, and I discovered just this evening as I was getting ready to come upstairs that there were some who had not received it. So because I know you get a lot of information from a lot of different avenues from school, I just decided to send it out this evening. So that would have gone at about 5 to 6 from me. So if you're looking for information or the links to that, I have an attachment to that email where you can access the links for the information that students and parents need to make those very important subject selections. Yesterday at about 4, I also sent an email to students regarding their the information they need to do their subject selection. An email was also sent with their Web Choices login details from Cannon Hill Anglican College with the subject line subject selection. So don't look for one from me, but look for one from Cannon Hill Anglican College, and then you can go in and do your subject selections. Actually, before I came up tonight, one person had already done their subject selection, so I was pretty excited about that because that tells me it was working. So for Year 11 and 12, and certainly, you know, prior to that, students would always choose those subjects that they are good at and those they are interested in. And over the course of Year 10, I've had students change subjects because they discovered that they weren't particularly interested in it, or that they looked at something else and thought they'd be interested in that. So I'm really pleased about that because it means that our students are being a lot more discerning in their choices. We've also had some very, very good decisions being made regarding maths choices. The set planning that you and parents and students have been doing with Penny Cummins has been very useful because we've made a few changes on their subjects for semester 2 based on those discussions. There are quite a few subjects available to our students in grade 11 and 12. So we have, and they're all listed there. And if you have a look at the subject selection guide, they're also there as well. We have a couple of vocational subjects in our electives, the Business Cert 3 and the Certificate 2 in Tourism. The Cert 3 in Fitness and the Cert 2 in Sport and Recreation can lead you to a Cert 4 in Fitness in grade 12 if you choose to go that way. but it is important that you take a look at what is there and make some good decisions. Talk to your parents, talk to your teachers this year, talk to the heads of faculty, and that way you can make some very valuable decisions moving forward. The prerequisites for certain university courses have changed of late, and Ms. Cummins has been sending those through to grade 10s and 11s and 12s as they come in. It's very, very important that you realise that and actually listen, talk to, contact Ms. Cummins if you have any questions. So we do, at school, we do like our students to achieve the Queensland Certificate of Education. It is that very first certificate that you get, that piece of paper that you achieve. And to get that, you need 20 points, credit points. And these are attained through a number of different ways. So you can choose choose 5 normal general subjects, or a combination of general subjects and certificate subjects and applied subjects. There's all sorts of options for you. You don't have to do a straight academic program to get your QCE, and you certainly don't have to do a straight academic program to get the ATAR. So all students should actually will have to study English and mathematics of some form. EPP, which is the exit preparation program, and Life and Faith are also part of the year 11 and 12 program. ATAR eligibility requires a successful completion of an English subject, but this does not require, you do not have to have this as part of your ATAR score calculation. A QCE requires successful completion of 20 units of learning, and that's about it. And those 20 units of learning are taken over grade 11 and grade 12. ATAR will be covered later in this presentation by Mr. Bowden. Changing subjects is something that you might find you need to do, but the sooner you decide, or the sooner that you change those subjects, the better off you are, because you don't want to be moving through a subject too far before the change is made, because you do miss quite a lot. Year 11, units 1 and 2 are very much about preparing you for what's to come in units 3 and 4. It is also important that you choose subjects now.
Just check that they can hear you. Someone's saying that they can't hear you.
Oh, okay, well that's not good.
Just ask if everyone else can hear.
Yeah.
Got a thumbs up.
Got a thumbs up?
Yeah, thumbs up if you can hear.
Yeah. So we're just waiting to see if people can hear me. Excellent. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So when the students choose their subjects for grade 11 and 12, the timetable is developed based on those subjects that are chosen by you. The number of classes are chosen by you, and sometimes if you want to make a change, that is not possible because those particular classes are full. And that's why it is important that you make these decisions now. I tend to have most of the timetable completed for years 9 through to 12 by the end of the September holidays. And then I'm just working on the 7s and 8s after that. So please be very careful when making those decisions. Don't choose to do something just because you think it might get you a better ATAR. That is not the way it works these days. We don't recommend that students change at the end of Unit 2, because that means that they've missed all that preparation and formative work, the assessment, etc. That is really, really important for being successful in Units 3 and 4. And we don't allow any subject changes unless there are extenuating circumstances in Units 3 and 4. So that is a case-by-case situation. So as you know, subject selection is online. You received an email from me on Friday regarding the necessary information. The link will be open until Monday, August 9 at 12 p.m. And at that point, I will be chasing people to get their subject choices in. As I said, it is so difficult to make changes once I have everything in place. We have 900 odd students. bucket loads of teachers, like 80, 90 teachers. We have so many different classes, so many different subjects. So it's just very complicated if I have to make changes. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. And just check your emails for Monday afternoon just to make sure that you did get that link from me. If you didn't, I can send you the information that you need. As I said, you can contact Miss Cummins for the next 2 days. Heads of faculty will be online, available by email until 8 p.m. tonight. And these email addresses were sent this morning. Students would know them anyway. Shane and I will be here until 7:30 through the chat function. So I'd like to hand over now to Mr. Bowden to have to talk about the very important aspect of ATAR. What I might do is I might turn my microphone off. No, that's hang on. Yeah, hang on. Sorry. Here we go. And my microphone. Here, right?
Okay. Turn your sound off.
Turn my sound off. Got it.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'll be talking about a few different things. First of all, I'll be talking about the different pathways of study available. It's getting a little bit of feedback. How we award credit here via the QCAA and awarding through the QCE, how we report, external assessment, and finally the schedule of units.
Sorry, I don't know why mine is not doing what it should do. Hang on. I have to. Then you can run should be able to run the thing then. Hopefully they can turn the sound on again.
Yep. Okay, so we've worked out that technical issue. So first of all, talking about the pathways of study available. There's two pathways studied in years 11 and 12. The first one is the ATAR focused pathway. Now you can do that via a few different options. The first one is taking 6 general subjects, or the next one being 5 general subjects and 1 other being an applied subject, a VET program or traineeship, or 4 general subjects and 1 applied will also achieve an ATAR score. Now, the general subjects are often subjects associated with university preparation. The applied subjects are subjects often attached to preparation for trades or TAFE courses or study or the like. The second pathway available is the non-ATAR alternate pathway. Now, as the name suggests, you won't receive an ATAR for taking that particular pathway, but you will receive your QCE, so your Queensland Certificate of Education, which is a summation of your 12 years of study at school. And you can do a non-ATAR pathway by taking 3 general subjects plus a mixture of applied subjects, the VET program or traineeships, and obviously Ms. Cummins is the best person to talk to about that particular process. Now, as it says down the bottom there, the ATAR is calculated by QTAC based on your 5 best scaled results. The scaling is determined by QTAC at the end of each year and it will never be predetermined. So subjects will scale differently from year to year, and that is dependent on the students that take the subjects across the state. In the old system, the subjects were scaled at a school level first before being scaled across the state. That doesn't exist anymore. Now it's all the students across the state who take a particular subject will determine how that subject scores. So it does change year on year. Now, applied subjects are unlikely to scale as highly as general ones. However, as Jenny mentioned before, it is always recommended that you choose the subjects you're most likely to succeed in. And those subjects are the subjects that you love and enjoy and the subjects that you are good at. And please do take advice from your heads of faculties and your teachers and your parents with regards to what subjects you choose there. Now, the awarding of credit. So in years 11, you'll be completing units 1 and unit 2. Both units do not contribute to an ATAR score, but each subject in each unit will contribute 1 QCE point. Now, to achieve your QCE, your Queensland Certificate of Education, a student needs 20 QCE points. And using those various pathways of study that I mentioned before, each pathway will get you to those 20 QCE points if you complete them successfully. So, in Units 1 and Unit 2, you will get 1 QCE point per subject, but it will your result in those subjects will not contribute to your ATAR. In Units 3 and 4, which is considered Year 12 units, but they do start in Term 4 and Year 11 here at CHAC, they will contribute to your ATAR score. Units 3 and Unit 4 is considered a pair. They operate as a pair of units, and you will receive 2 QCE points for each pair. So for each Unit 3 and Unit 4 of each subject that you do. So the ATAR is your 5 highest scaled results, and you will receive a score ranging from 99.95 through to 30. So 30 being the bottom, 99.95 being the very, very top. It varies year on year, but approximately the best 31 students in the state can achieve a 99.95, and the next best 31 students will achieve a 99.90, and so forth until we go down to 30. Your QCE, as I mentioned before, that entails getting a total of 20 credits from a range of core, complementary or preparatory elements. Now, what that means is core subjects are your essential subjects and your applied subjects. Complementary subjects are those subjects that are considered university preparation subjects, so university start programs and things alike of that like, and preparatory subjects, which are subjects like your Certificate 1 VET courses, which are considered preparation for Years 11 and 12. Now, reporting here at CHAC, now most of you are familiar with reporting with regards to continuous reporting. That goes on in Years 11 and 12. So as soon as an assessment piece is handed in, a teacher will spend 2 to 3 weeks marking, cross-marking and calibrating marks for that particular assessment piece before handing it back to students. The marks will be entered in through our webbook system, which will become live to parents and students via Learning Analytics. And attached to that will be the qualitative comments. Now, the qualitative comments is the feedback that teachers give to students regarding that particular assessment piece. The same process also happens in Year 12. However, the results are considered provisional in Year 12. Now, that means that the results are what the teacher has awarded at that point in time. The results are then uploaded through to the QCAA. That's the Queensland Curriculum and Assessment Authority, responsible for gathering all that information. And it goes through a process that we call confirmation. That means panels of teachers across the state will look at the assessment, will look at the marking, and they will confirm whether or not those results awarded by teachers are accurate. So that's why we call it provisional results when a teacher awards a result. It still has to go through that process of confirmation before those results become certified or confirmed, as we say, and those are the final confirmed results, the results that contribute to a student's ATAR score. Now, the reports themselves, reports are generated at the end of each unit in Years 11 and 12, and they will give you the numerical result for an assessment piece, the letter grade. Okay, now that letter grade is approximate because letter grades change year on year based on the QCAA and their cutoffs for each letter grade. A satisfactory or unsatisfactory rating, that indicates whether or not the QCE point has been awarded. So if a student receives an unsatisfactory rating for a subject in a particular unit, then they haven't met the requirements to receive a QCE point. But here at CHAC, we do everything we can to make sure or ensure that they do get that QCE point. So we work very hard to do that. And a unit overview comment. So that happens in Year 11 and Year 12, but in Year 12, you also receive the provisional numerical result for each assessment piece and the unit overview comment. The most important piece of reporting for students and parents is the continuous reporting as opposed to the end of unit report. Now, the reason being is those reporting comments are timely. They happen within 3 weeks of the assessment being handed up. They contain really high quality qualitative feedback, which parents and students can talk about at home and students can talk about with their teachers at school. They also contain the feedback that forms the basis of parent-teacher interviews. So if you have a set of parent-teacher interviews coming up, and usually they come up within the same time frame as the reports are generated, then please use that qualitative feedback as a basis for those discussions that you have with teachers. So that's the most important bit of feedback as opposed to the end of unit reports. External assessment. So external assessment across the state happens at the end of year 12. So it happens at the from around about the 25th of October through to about the 16th of November. So it's a 3.5-week process. No school sees this assessment in advance, and it is marked by teachers employed by the QCAA. So it is separate from what happens here at school. In the old system, all assessment was set and marked internally. That is in schools. Now in this new system, 3 assessment pieces are set and marked internally, and the external assessment piece at the end is set and marked externally. So that's very, very important. Now, external assessment accounts for either 50% or 25% of the total subject results. The 50% applies to maths and science subjects. So the external exam in maths and science accounts for 50% of the overall result for those subjects. Everything else is 25%. All subjects have 4 assessment pieces that contribute to the overall grade. And like I said, only one is externally written, but the others are prepared by CHACS teachers and approved and confirmed and have their marks confirmed by the QCAA. Finally, this is our curriculum delivery structure. So it varies from school to school. There is flexibility amongst schools around how they deliver or schedule their units of work. Students here at CHAC will complete Unit 1 in the first term and a half of Year 11, so finishing in approximately week 5. Unit 2 will run through to the beginning of Term 4 of Year 11. Then, importantly, at the end of Year 11, students will begin their Unit 3 work. Now, that is that work that contributes to their ATAR score. So they'll start working and getting results that contribute to their ATAR score at the end of Year 11. Unit 3 then runs through to halfway through Term 2 of Year 12. Unit 4 then takes over from there, and that sees out to the remainder of the end of the year. Okay, so they're the 4 units of work, and that's a rough schedule of when those units start and finish. There's usually about a 2-week leeway from subject to subject, depending on the content and the syllabuses, but that's about that. Okay, so at this point in time, that's it for me. Jenny, did you want to finish off?
Yes. So thank you, everyone. Please contact either myself or Mr. Bowden or Shane for if you have any questions about what we've presented tonight. We will be here checking our chat until 7:30, and don't forget that the heads of faculty are online if you would like to speak to them by email. We will do a transcript of all of the questions as well as the recording of the event. Once we sort of take off the front and the back, the bits that aren't so important, we will ensure that is on that page as well for anybody who missed it or for anybody who would like to listen again. So thank you very much, and I'll look forward to having all of your subject selections in by Monday 12 noon. If you have any issues, please do not hesitate to contact me. It's a very easy process to fix things if we need to. Thank you very much.